Hey everybody, welcome to the QuiverCast.
You go left, I go right. Man, this wave is out of sight. Going surfing, going surfing, going surfing with friends.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the QuiverCast. Today we are stoked to have a legendary surfer, East Coast for sure, standout, one of the best East Coast surfers of all time, Todd Holland. How are you, Todd?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. Let's start way back. Did you know you were going to be a pro surfer?
No.
No?
No, I guess, I made the NSSA national team when I was 12. So from that point on, I was pretty set in the direction I wanted to go.
Okay, so at age 12, a sparkle in your eye to be a pro surfer.
Yeah, I made the NSSA national team, which was coached by Ian Cairns and Peter Townend. So,
Okay.
I figured I had the right direction, influence to try to push me in that proper direction.
What'd you think of those two guys?
They're epic.
Okay.
Absolutely epic. My career would have never gone where it went without either one of them.
Let's break each one of those characters down. So PT's kind of, and I know PT pretty well. You're kind of super nice, kind of professional. Well, how's Ian?
He's very, very nice.
Is he?
Ian? Very, very straightforward.
Okay.
No BS with him. He'd be the one to say, suck it up, or, flat out, hey, you're doing that wrong.
Okay.
You think you're doing it right.
And on PT, on the other hand, was he the nicer of the two?
He was just, he was still very stern in his coaching.
Really?
But
Okay.
it wasn't,
We're first world champ on the first tour, the IPS tour, right?
Yeah.
When you first met them, what did you think? Did you know who they were?
Oh, yeah. I knew who they were. And it was really cool because when I moved to Florida when I was, 10,
Mm-hmm.
Florida had the NSSA district, had an NSSA district and ran by Jimbo Gaskins. I got into that. Jimbo introduced it, NSSA to me. Got in that competing and got going where my first year I got an invite to California for the Nationals and I met PT and N.
Wow. What were you doing before you moved to Florida as a young kid?
Started surfing in Emerald Isle, North Carolina.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Back then it was like, I couldn't have asked for a better way to start surfing because the town literally was so small. They had one stoplight. After the tourists left for the season, you knew every single person in town and the dog's name that crossed the street. And it was awesome because when I wanted to start surfing, my mom and dad had mentioned something to the Glennon brothers who found an old 6-foot Steve Walden diamond tail single fin in a junkyard. The local ding repair guy, Randy Hall, took it and pretty much rebuilt the whole board for me.
Wow.
For $35. That's what I paid for the board.
Wow. How many surfers were in that town?
Actually, there was a fair few. It was really funny because that's when Randy redid the board, hand painted a red sun on the nose and a yellow bottom. And that's where
right.
I came up with my red and yellow colors I held into my professional career.
That's rad. That's how you, that's pretty awesome.
It was awesome because then I didn't even get my board from Joe Turkowski at Salt Creek Surf Shop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even get it from him, but I'd been buying all my skateboards and everything from him. And I ran over and I told him I'd just got my board, and he closed his shop and took me surfing for the first time.
Wow, that's so fucking cool. That's so cool.
Every older guy in town, the Farringtons, the Brownlows, the Heverleys, Donald Stone, you name it, every older guy in town kind of just took me under the wing. And my parents said as long as I had one of them in the water with me, I could surf.
Okay. Do you remember how the waves were?
Oh, yeah. They get just like anywhere on the East Coast. We have their epic days. I think it was really funny because it was only my first year surfing or so, and it was like 6 feet and offshore.
Wow.
And I think it was like Ricky Farrington that went into my mom's office and said she needed to come check us out of school because the waves were that good.
Wow.
And
So
she did. She did.
She did?
And I do believe Ricky Farrington towed me all the way out by the pier by me holding onto his leash and paddling.
Okay, so 6 foot's pretty big. Were you concerned that, a young Todd?
No, I was a good swimmer, and like I said, I do believe I had to pass some swimming tests of the older guys, and and they all took good care of me, and they all coached me and helped me get better. And Donald Stone taught me how to do a layback.
Okay.
Roy Kinney, Carl, and David Haverly, their parents owned the pier, so anytime they were working, I hung out at the pier when I was a little grom. They always looked after me, took care of me.
So you moved to Florida. How was the transition?
It was good, back then, let's see, 68, 78, I thought Cocoa Beach was a city.
Yeah, compared to where you came from.
We didn't have to drive about 45 minutes to a grocery store.
Oh, shit, yeah. Were they accommodating, you being a young surfer? Did you feel like good talent compared to the other Cocoa Beach surfers?
I was doing good. So it was like, my second year here, I was already going to California for the Nationals.
Wow.
Going through NSSA and going to the East Coast Championships with the ESA and whatnot, So everything kind of blended together pretty good.
So do you remember your first contest?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What made you go into the contest? Why?
Just local surfers that did it. It was a Central North Carolina ESA division. I went to it, and of course it was freezing cold because my first wetsuit was a XXX small U.S. divers.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about armpit rashes.
No shit. They probably didn't make Grom wetsuits back then. Or very.
No. And I was very little.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember that was my very first contest. I ended up winning, and I still have the trophy to this day.
Wow, that's cool. That's awesome. Do you remember the age brackets and how many kids were
It was
competing against you? Okay, so
12 and under 12.
Okay, and how many kids were in the contest with you?
I think there was only 3. Like I said, there weren't a lot of kids that young that surfed up there.
Okay, and those other 2, do you remember them? Were they your friends?
I think it was my brother and Jimmy Farrington.
Okay, there you go. That's awesome. At what age did you start getting recognized internationally or nationally? Let's say.
Pretty
young, right?
Nationally, I think so. Because at 15 is when I got third in the world junior men's at the World Championships.
Yeah.
So,
do you remember that contest? And what about that contest?
I remember it very well. I surfed the trials. It was one open trials, men's and junior men's, and I did really good. I think I might have ended up winning. PT was the U.S. team coach, and he put me and Jeff Booth as the junior men's. That was the year the U.S. team ended up winning.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You and Jeff, were you feeling competitive with him, or are you friendly with him?
Well, I mean, we've been friendly, but it's like anything. You paddle out in the heat, and you're
you want to beat him
to win. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys leave it on the sand? All of a sudden, you're realizing that you have potential to become one of the guys, one of the top guys in the world. What is your mom thinking? And is she supportive?
Oh man, my mom was biggest surf mom in the whole world.
Did she surf?
No. But I mean, even from the first event I surfed in North Carolina, they had someone up there trying to tabulate, and they were looking for volunteers and everything. My mom jumped right in and started helping.
Okay. So she really is into it.
Yeah, we moved to Florida. She helped Jimbo. She ended up taking over the NSSA district when he let it go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My mom worked at surf magazines. Her and some other guys built their own U.S. surf magazine.
Okay.
She was one of the very first surfing travel agents that had
That's awesome.
Yeah, Surf Express that went
Okay.
from
Okay.
1984 to I don't even know. But
That's rad.
yeah, she had sent so many people around the world. She handled tickets for Charlie Coon, Matt Keckley, me, Scott McReynolds to get them around the world. She helped start the ASP East.
Okay.
She ran ASP events. This is all before I was professional.
Yeah.
She ran the OP Pro East.
Yep.
She started the Tropics tour up and down the East Coast professionals.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so
She loves surfing.
yeah, she absolutely,
Okay.
she loves the ocean. She loves surfing. I want to say when she was like 70, I actually took her out surfing behind the house here.
How'd that go? Good.
Great. She stood right up and rode every wave in.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. So it sounds like your mom was like totally embracing it, and she was being creative. She was kind of starting something new, like surf travel. Was she one of the first, if not the first?
Yeah.
Wow.
She took off and bought a ticket to Costa Rica because she had her travel agent's license and then was already doing tickets for people and everything to travel to surf, and set up a whole travel package to Hako back when Hako wasn't even anything.
Yeah. Obviously, she was very supportive. Was there a push for you to be a pro surfer, or was she, you do you, Todd, kind of thing?
Yeah,
okay.
I did me. And
yeah, you did.
it was like I was a very driven person.
Okay.
I had my blinders on.
You had goals.
I was dead set becoming a pro surfer when I made my decision.
Was there any pro surfers you were looking up to as like
Most
idols?
Definitely. Sean Thompson was my idol.
Was he? Okay.
I could never say enough about Sean Thompson. I remember I went in North Carolina my very first year surfing. I went and got his autograph. My first 2 years surfing, I got his autograph in North Carolina. And then we moved to Florida and I saw him. And he actually remembered my name.
Nice. That's so cool.
Yeah. And it blew me away.
Oh,
and then I want to say I was like 14. He came back and I got his autograph again. And I got his autograph every year up till I was professional. I thought
that's so
the other weekend again,
That's right.
But he 1 year he sent me some Instinct board shorts and stuff. I got in trouble for wearing them instead of my sponsor's clothes because Sean Thompson had sent them to me. I remember one of my biggest highlights is I was, 15 or so, right around 15, and the national team went to South Africa. Everybody else flew from California for the most part for the national team, so I would always have to leave from Florida. My parents put me on a plane in Orlando to go to Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And that's where they were doing that wave pool, the very first wave pool up there. And I was staying with Ian and Pat Cairns. And I remember I was at the hotel and Sean came walking in, being a little grump. I'm walking, hey, Sean, hey, what are you doing? Hey. And I asked him, hey, you need a hand carrying your luggage,
Yeah.
He let me help him carry his boards up to his room and everything. And he looks over and he goes, have you eaten dinner? I go, no. He goes, how about if we order some room service for you and me?
Oh, that's cool.
I was just like, are you flipping kidding me? And Thompson just asked me if I wanted to have dinner with him,
Oh, yeah.
And I still to this day, I remember it absolutely perfect. He was just like my complete idol. And I remember, I think it was my first year at Bells Beach. I drew him in the quarterfinals.
Ooh, okay.
And it was perfect 35-foot Bells ball.
Yeah, his specialty.
I'm surfing against Sean in really fun Bells ball. Oh, my God, yeah. I ended up beating him.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, couldn't believe it. I was trying to get out of the parking lot so fast to call home to tell him I got to surf against Sean, and I actually beat him and everything, and I backed over my surfboard.
Oh, that's classic.
Instead of chasing down the phone to call home, I was chasing down ding repair material.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's awesome. Do you guys still talk today?
Sure do. Actually, I was just last week out at the surf trade show in Orlando. I got to see him, and we talked for a bit and everything, and it's so cool. Even like one of my couple times, like one of my surfers saw him at Lowers. One of the kids I coach now, and coach growing up and everything, and he went over to Sean and said, "Todd said to say hello if we saw you out here and everything." Sean was like completely cool to him. Same with PT. Cool. He met PT out there too, and he lives out there now,
Yeah.
And both of them were just super nice to the kid that I coached him from the time he was like 12.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's right. Sean, I mean, he's moving up in age like we all are. I saw him a few years ago, and he still rips.
Yeah.
Like, really.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I'll never forget, I think it was Free Ride, watching it. A bar opened up early up in Atlantic Beach, and some of the older guys took me up. Sitting on the floor, the dance floor of the bar, watching Free Ride.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Popcorn garbage bags full of popcorn that my mom made before we left.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. All right. So you have this trajectory of conquering the world. How does that go for you?
It was going good. I felt one big confidence builder was when I was 16. Ian and PT had us enter the OP Pro.
Huntington?
Yeah, and being an amateur, you had to surf through round one of the trials. I made it all the way through to the second round of the main event.
Nice, that's rad.
It was huge. It was big enough that I found out if you connected from the south side to the north side, then they would score your wave on the north side.
Yes, okay.
And, so I would paddle out and paddle through the pier, catch the biggest left I could find, and connect to the right.
Yeah. Go through the pylons?
Yeah.
How was it surfing in front of such a big crowd? Huntington brought a lot of people to the beach.
Yeah. Fortunately, I didn't make it where it was absolutely packed that year, But so it didn't affect me too much.
Do you feel like your surfing improved with an audience, or were you more? Does that make sense? Like, did it stoke you? Like, you have people watching, like, I'm going to really kill this wave?
Nah, I don't know. I was more focused about just getting the result.
Okay. And were they doing 3 waves at this time? Or how were they scoring the heats?
I think it was 4 waves.
Well, 4 waves? Top 4?
Either 3 or 4 waves.
Okay.
I know in the amateurs it was all 4 waves.
In 20 minutes, half an hour? How long were the heats?
15 or 20-minute heat.
Shit, that's a lot of waves to get. Do you like the new method? Do you think it's better with 2 waves, or do you think they should change it?
Yeah, I like the 2 wave. Gets you a little more focused on you being able to use better wave selection versus scrambling just to get anything.
That's true. Yeah. So as a young amateur also, everyone says Florida has small waves and East Coast has small waves. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think it's fun a lot of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what age did you start going to Hawaii?
Well, I made the national team in August when I was 12, turned 13 in December, and went to Hawaii.
How was that? Was that eye-opening?
It was very eye-opening. Jimbo Gaskins took me over there. It was like Jimbo Gaskins, Crystal Rover, another guy, Speedy Patrick, and me that were on the NSSA national team from the East Coast.
Yeah.
We went over there and met everybody on the national team and the 2-week national team trip. And I remember my first year, Ian and PT made us paddle out at like 10-foot sunset.
Wow. You probably weighed nothing.
Yeah. No, I was 4'10" and 85 pounds. I had 2 big wave boards. Everybody from California had all these fancy boards, everything. I was surfing for Dick Catree at the time, Shag Surf Shop, Dick Catree. Dick goes, well, I'm going to make you a 510 balsa. They made me a 510 balsa. Claudie Codgen made me a 7.2 single fin.
Wow. Okay. Single fin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had good equipment, but it wasn't top equipment.
Okay.
Like everybody else. But no, Ian and PT, they made us paddle out at, 8-10 foot sunset. And I remember I was kind of hanging towards the channel, trying to not get caught and everything. And just my luck, perfect, like 10 foot West Peak came right to me.
Oh.
And then all I could hear was PT and Ann yelling for me to go. Oh, it was really funny. I found out, a little while back that it was really cool when I found out that I always thought it was just Ann and PT out there. And I'm like, how are they keeping up with all of us,
Yeah.
No, they had contacted Sean, I think Hans Hedeman, Bobby Owens, and there's a whole crew of the guys that were friends of theirs, and they were all just out there surfing and keeping an eye on all the kids.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. That same trip, I remember one time we pulled up at Haleiwa, and the 3 of us younger guys, it was getting big and the swell was coming up, and Ian goes, you don't have to paddle out. And, well, being from the East Coast, you think small wave surfer. I look over and Jimbo looks at me and goes, you're paddling out.
So do you remember that swinging around for that 10-foot wave? How did you take off? And how was it?
Yeah, I got it. I made it.
You made it?
Yeah, I made it.
Okay. Were you ever fearing for your life in Hawaii?
Yeah, later on and when I was older.
Okay. Do you remember any instances?
Oh yeah, man. I probably blacked out underwater.
Wow.
And came to popping up when I popped out.
No way.
Yeah.
Where was this at?
Probably a few times. Mostly at sunset. You get into drug.
Oh shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is sunset the scariest wave, or what is the scariest wave? Is it pipe?
Believe it or not, I think I was more scared of big sunset than pipe. Pipe, you always knew where the bottom was.
Yeah, right there.
You ended up sitting on it.
Yeah. Sunset. Yeah, there's a lot of water moving too.
Some people think, well, yeah, you get bounced off of it and everything. Yeah, but it's right there. You sit on it. You sit on it, let the wave pass, and then push yourself up. Or at sunset, you just drags you forever. I remember they called the contest off one year at sunset, and I looked out and I saw, 2 or 3 guys out there, and I go, it's not that big. And I grabbed my 7.6 and I paddled out. And I get out there, and it's Tom and Nick Carroll are out there. I'm like, hey, guys, what size board are you on? I think Tom goes, an 8.0. Nick, what are you on? 8.8. The next thing I know, I'm getting sucked out on the edge of the channel, and they disappear. So I'm out there just getting sucked farther and farther out by myself.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I finally paddled over, and I caught the edge of a whitewater. I could barely hold an edge on a 7.6 to get in.
Wow.
And I rode that wave all the way through and went straight in.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Did you look forward to going to Hawaii?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it?
I love Hawaii. I've always had such a good time in Hawaii. I like the locals. The locals are always have been unbelievably nice,
Yeah.
I remember my first year on the circuit, it was Sonny, me, and Richie Collins traveling together.
Okay.
I remember Sonny and John Shamuka. I met them on the national team.
You bring up Richie Collins and Sonny Garcia. Those guys were the outspoken kind of guys, like kind of the tough guys on tour, right? I don't know what term you'd want to use, but
I don't know about tough guys or whatever.
They're very outspoken for in that age.
Speak their mind.
That's right. Yeah.
You know?
Nothing bad about it. It's good.
Yeah, nothing. They just
Yeah.
they speak their mind, and
Right.
that's I don't know. We all got along great.
Yeah. Well, that's my question. Like on tour, how did you find your clan? How did you find your group? Did it just organically happen?
Yeah, well, when I first started, Charlie Coon was still on the circuit. He kind of took me under the wing up until Lacanau. And I think it was after Lacanau or Hossiger, he took off and went back home. And I think in Barrett's, like it was me, Sonny, and Richie crashed up in this one hotel we could find. And I do believe, I think it was times where one time in France, we checked into the hotel and didn't have the money to pay for the hotel.
Oh, shit.
And we were all three in the trials.
Oh, shit.
So one or more of us had to make the main event just to pay for our hotel.
Okay. So did you guys have like a pack? Like we'd work together money wise?
Yeah. It was like, okay, if no one else makes it and I made it, then I'm paying for the hotel.
Did that bring you guys closer, you think?
Yeah, I mean, we were all really close, Sonny let me, I was going through sponsor problems in Hawaii, before Hawaii over the winter one time, and Sonny let me stay at his house, Sonny was always welcome here. It's like Richie just was back in town last year, stayed for I think he came and stayed twice with me last year.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you guys are like family now.
Yeah,
Was it you guys as a group kind of going against a different groups? Was there other cliques inside the tour at the time?
Not too much. In the beginning, we were the young guys.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, that makes sense.
We still had Sean, Simon Anderson, Hans Hedeman. I think maybe Rabbit. We might have still been doing a couple. There was those were the older guys, and we were the young guys coming up.
Snapping at their heels kind of thing?
Yeah. In between them, you had Tom Carroll.
Yep.
They also had back with Sean's era and everything, Shane Horan was still in it. And then in between them and us, you had Tom Carroll, Tom Curran. You had Potts. Those were probably the three different stages when we were coming on,
Did you have a preference of who you surfed against? Or you didn't give a shit?
Nah, it was just whoever.
You didn't have a rival?
Not really.
Okay. So you treated all the competitors the same. You just wanted to beat them.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was Potts. I beat him the first few times I surfed against him. And it was really small every time we surfed against together. And I love Potts. He's super.
Yeah.
We were really good friends. I remember I was just a little young Grum. And he just goes, I can't wait to get you in some waves. Damn Grum.
Okay, so it was just that.
Yeah. It was very friendly, but it's just
And there was no priority at this time either? Or was it just starting?
Yeah, man on man, they had priority.
The buoy? You had to paddle around the buoy?
Yeah, you had to paddle around the buoy. And
going back till today, do you think how they have priority set up today is better than that era?
It has its good points and its bad points.
Okay. So did you like the buoy?
There were some epic paddle battles. I was surfing Bell's Beach against Wes Lane, another one of the old guys that was in there. And have you ever seen how long Wes's arms are?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
They're probably twice as long as my arms. And we're in a paddle battle, and I'm paddling. I'm head down, kicking, paddling hard as I can. I look up, and Wes is just going, looking at me like, how you doing over there? Been tired yet? And,
oh, shit.
Yeah, I ended up hiring Wes. It's my second year on the circuit to coach me. You know how to surf man-on-man eats.
Wow, okay. So actually going to that, when you started first surfing man-on-man, did you like those?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of strategy. My first year I made it. I think I finished 27th or 28. Yeah, I got
Okay.
Rookie of the Year. So
Yeah,
back
you
then
did.
it was, making the top 30.
Yes.
That was the break. The top 30 was the top 44 now. Me, Sonny, and Richie all made the top 30 our first year.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. After that, I wouldn't surf 4-man heats and build up momentum to go into the man-on-man main event. I started out in the main event. I wasn't used to jumping into the main event without surfing previous heats and building up momentum and everything. Wes Lane was still on the circuit. Wes being from the East Coast and an awesome guy. I ended up hired him, and anytime I had a place to stay, he could stay with me for free, and then I'd give him 10% of my prize winnings, which back then wasn't very much.
No. Yeah, probably not. Not compared to today's level. So was this one of the first arrangements of surf coaching kind of thing professionally, you think? You guys didn't really have a lot of coaches like they do today.
Yeah, not like today. No, a lot of guys traveled with their wives instead of having a coach and traveling with a coach.
Yeah, and your mom was probably booking your arrangements. Was that an advantage to you?
Yeah, a lot of guys would have their sponsors, as part of their deal, buy their tickets and everything. For me, fortunately, I had, my mom doing her surf travel.
Yeah.
I would say, okay, instead of buying my tickets, give me the money. And I'll have her
your mom
tickets. Yeah.
Total advantage. But some of these surfers also had to book their own flights and stuff. Maybe the guys before you, maybe the Tom Carroll and Tom Kearns did.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Back then, if you had these little stickers and you knew how to fill them out, you could change your own ticket.
You couldn't do that today, I don't think.
Yeah, they had a little sticker. You could fill it out and then paste it right over all your flight info. If you knew all the codes and everything to put in on it, you could just change your ticket.
How many flights have you been on in your life, do you think?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Do you still travel today, or are you glad to be home because you've done the world?
I'm pretty much a homebody. My wife and I were going to Colorado. We're not going this year, but the last few years we've gone to Colorado snowboarding. We love snowboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and I, we just bolt and go, and that's like our big vacation of the year. But this year we're not. We're just hanging at home. I had a couple health issues, so we're hanging at home until I can get all that taken care of.
Okay. Did you appreciate traveling the world when you did for all those years, for a decade plus?
Yeah, I appreciate a lot of it. I had my favorite places I like to go, like anybody. I loved Australia. It's kind of expensive depending on how you do it. Same thing with France. I really like France. As I mentioned, Hawaii, I just felt at home in Hawaii. The people, everything, I probably would have retired there. I have a kid. My son was back here, so.
Yeah.
And I would have never been able to afford a house in Hawaii.
Yeah, unfortunately. Especially nowadays. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, like, let's say France, because it's European, it's ancient. Like, if you lost the heat or something, you're out of the contest. Did you go and do tourist things, or was it just on to the next contest?
No, sometimes I do some tourist things, but not a lot of it. Like Western Australia, a lot of times I'd take an afternoon off and go drive and check out all the vineyards and stuff like that. Pick up some wine and
enjoy it.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah, because I hear a lot of these guys, a lot of pro surfers and stuff, they've traveled the world and then they don't see anything and they're kind of bummed about it later on.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for us because a lot of times, a lot of us were on such a budget.
Yes.
We couldn't afford to do a lot.
Right.
Do
you think the pro surfers of today have the struggles you had, you guys as a group?
Yeah, like you said, some of them are struggling today, and I go, I'd like to see what kind of they call struggling. But I can say that about them. I bet you Sean Thompson will turn around and say the same thing about me.
That's right. That's true.
That kid doesn't know what struggling is. It's like I heard rabbits slept in the bushes at sunset.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. They were literally like they started pro surfing.
Yeah. Those guys are
they invented it kind of thing.
And Sean's like, even when I was a kid, he was like the most professional ambassador of surfing.
100%.
Yeah.
To this day, I think he's still all the movies and the narration and his voice and how he's a gentleman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were you guys having more fun or was it stressful? Like if you lost early rounds?
I all came up to about the year-end place, and everybody was aiming for that world title.
100%.
And sometimes when funds are short, it makes it harder to do. Having to stress about affording the rent a car and a place to stay.
Yeah.
It depends. Some people made more money than others. Unfortunately, I was towards the latter part of my career. OP went bankruptcy or Chapter 11, and I lost my sponsorship deal. That was my lucrative sponsorship deal, and I never really was able to get another good sponsor, even though I was in the top 16 of the world.
You were, and also you were very high profile. Your pictures were in the magazine all the time.
Yeah, and I kind of got a philosophy on a lot of that. I got a few kids that have gone professional and are starting to do some professional events. I've tried to give them a little bit of advice on dealing with sponsors because, I was totally the OP kid from the time I turned professional till the time they went Chapter 11. So I had put my name as with OP.
Yes.
So if somebody were to pick me up as a sponsor, they would have had to maybe spend advertising money or to redirect my name with their company. That might have made it a little bit harder for me to pick up sponsors.
So are you saying that was good or bad for you?
It was bad for me when they filed Chapter 11. It was great.
Oh, no, of course. But sticking your name with one company.
Yeah.
Branding yourself.
I tell kids that because unless a company is really going to stand behind them and really put forth and support them in their decisions and what they want to do and help them, getting around the world when it gets to that point of being professional. You want a company that's going to stand behind you 100%, not 50%, because you don't want to give a company 100% and they give 50%. And then if they decide to drop you, it's harder for you to get a company to go 100% behind you.
That totally makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And do you feel like a lot of the people today are feeling that? Exactly what you said? The last couple of years, you hear everyone's just getting dropped and then all these companies got bought out.
I think it's crazy how everything's gone so corporate. Nike taking over companies, and it changes everything from the old days. People, what was it, back when Billabong, when Bob Hurley was at Billabong, I remember Sonny could pick up the phone and call Bob, and be like, hey, I need help. Hey, this, it's kind of, I think it's lost a lot of that.
Makes sense.
Now everybody has managers, personal trainers, dietitians, and before it was, let me go sit down and negotiate.
You personally.
I hope I do this right.
Yeah. No sports agent.
Yeah.
Okay, so then also bringing up you guys too. You guys all had personalities, it seemed like, in the 80s and 90s. All the pro surfers, including yourself, but then your two traveling partners are full of personalities. People either loved them or hated them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think surfing's missing that today, or do you feel like it's still there?
Oh, man, tell you what, I watch a few events.
Oh, okay. So you're not even into pro surfing, watching it really.
I watch some of them, I was kind of really bummed to find out Pipe's not a part of the, and having to understand that the world title was complicated to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but I can't believe the world titles decided that 4-foot lowers.
Do you like the top 5 surfers getting to have a shot to become world champ? Or do you feel like points?
I think it should be, if you qualify for the World Championship Tour, you should be able to battle it out till the end, last event of the year.
Okay. But if you win it 2 events before, that's cool too, though, right? Because it's fair and square.
Yeah. At first, I didn't like the 2-tier system.
Okay.
I was against it because it's like I started the world professional circuit and I didn't have any professional points because I only ever surfed events as an amateur. I went 3 days after high school, I started ASP, and I'd already missed the first leg of that year in Australia. My parents wouldn't let me go to homeschool or finish. They said I had to graduate. I stuck it out, graduated. 3 days later, I flew to South Africa with Charlie Cohn.
Oh, wow.
And,
yeah.
I surfed through the trials of every single event. Like Pike, I had to surf the local trials, then the international trials to make it to the main event. But I was able to show up and surf every contest and do well enough that my very first year I finished, 27th, 28th?
Yeah. Awesome.
Now, how does a young, up-and-coming pro surfer able to do that now? No, he has to go through the Challenger. No, what was it?
Yeah. The QS and
The
Challenger.
QS, then the Challenger. And then so that takes, 4 years?
Right. Probably. If they're lucky.
So my confusion of it all is I love the idea of the World Championship Tour having better waves in the QS, but I would like to see more for the surfers and less for the organization, because even back when I started out on the circuit, the sanctioning fee for an event was $30,000.
Wow.
Then you had to pay for, as the contest director, I believe you had to pay for the travel, the hotel, and the food for the ASP staff and judges.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
not cheap.
So look at it today. How many QS events are there? How many Challenger events there are?
That's true, yeah.
Each one of these QS events, I mean, that was, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
For a 1-star event.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, which is probably equal to a QS event. So what's the sanctioning fees now? Where is all that money going? For all these WQS, Challenger,
the Challenger,
the Championship Tour. Where is all this money going? Because if they're paying $30,000 every event for a QS to the WSL, I mean, that's lowballing it.
Yeah, that is probably lowballing it. I don't know, but
yeah. Me neither. But I would love to see, and then it's filtered down into amateur surfing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I coach this one girl. She came to my surf camp because I have 2 surf schools.
Yes.
Yeah, I have the School of Surf in Cocoa Beach. At my wife and I, we both got married. She won the East Coast Amateur Championship.
Yeah, she rips.
Yeah, we met surfing, and she's awesome. And then we run the Ron John Surf School. I have this one little girl, Kylie, that came when she was 7 years old. She came to what we call mini Grom camp. He had no fear. Like, my son was shoving her over a 3 or 4 foot wave. I remember the lip hit him, it sucked up. I looked out and I yelled at my son. I'm like, "What are you doing with this kid?" And Kylie looks at me and just comes up and she's like, "That was awesome."
Yeah.
I mean, so I've coached her ever since.
Wow.
I think of her as like my second daughter. Her mom, her dad, her whole family's awesome. And she won the U.S. championships, the U.S. amateur championships for 18 and under, but she was only 15.
Yeah, awesome.
Right?
Rip. Yeah, it's great.
So then if you win the 18 and under, wouldn't you think that when they came to the team selection for the ISA World Games, that you would pick the number 1 surfer and 18 and under to be on the team?
Yeah, shoe in for sure.
Yeah, no brainer, right? Well, not in this case. Ryan Simmons was the head coach and wouldn't select her.
So it's up to him to select?
Yeah, and USA Prime Surfing. They said their reasoning was because she won 18 and under, and her actual division was 16 and under.
Going back to where we started, you like having the local trials. So then the local guy can get a shot to even make the main event.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Everyone has a fair shot if they don't have points.
Yeah. Even, just a plain 2-tier system so that you're not having to spend $1 million to get to
travel around the world.
To qualify to hopefully get to the world tour. It makes it so a young surfer that their parents don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And can't pay for their kid to travel around the world because now sponsors don't want to fork up all that money. They know it's still going to be 2 or 3 years, and they only want to fork up the money for people that are up into the Challenger Series and the WCT Series. So for a young surfer coming up that is the blue-collar family, dad goes to work, say, Sea Ray Boats, building boats, know, and works his 40, 50 hours a week. Mom works her 40, 50 hours a week. I mean, the amateur entry fees I hear from these guys like Prime and stuff, they're off the charts.
You got to have money nowadays.
Yeah.
Sprinter van and a coach.
Yeah.
Coaches are good.
So
you're saying in order to be a pro surfer nowadays, you got to come from money. You got to have access.
Yeah, or a sponsor that's actually going to put in and stand behind you. But how many of those do you know that are really out there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's going back to you were saying the struggles of you're having versus now. A lot of these guys are stickerless, and these are the top guys in the world on CT.
And then even so, as an amateur surfer, why are you even competing as an amateur? Because so you can make the U.S. team and surf the ISA World Junior Games?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. Well, you can win the hardest division of the U.S. championships, and then you still don't even get selected for the team.
Yeah, bummer. I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're changing all the time.
I brought all that stuff up about Kylie on Facebook and everything and tried to contact Prime. Prime wouldn't even call me back.
Wow.
Then they sent me a message and said, Ryan sent me a message and said, don't even bother, keep doing it. Nothing's going to change. And then I got a Andrea chick or something that ran the Prime, said she would call me after the ISA games. Never heard a word. All they wanted to do was for it to go away. I mean, it sucks. It sucks.
Does suck. Because I feel you.
I'm a former top 10 professional surfer in the world, and I got these kids coming up, and I'm coaching them, and they're working their butts off, surfing the best they can, training, everything, and I got to look at them and say, be ready, have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't do it 200%. Because it doesn't matter if you win the U.S. championships. You're not going to be selected. So just do the best you can, forget the amateurs, and start with the QS.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. Surfing the NSSA, U.S. Prime does nothing for you. If you have the money, sign up and enter the QS. The QS is the new amateurs.
If you want to be a pro, if you're looking at the big leagues.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? Yeah, I don't have answers for that. I don't know. I don't even know all the ins and outs of that. But I think what you're saying is correct, though. So train them, coach them to their, I guess, get on the QS, and then they'll be surfing against the best surfers in the world.
Yeah, or in their region.
There's some good surfers out there. Do you think the quality of surfing has improved over the years since when you were an amateur?
Definitely.
A lot better, more surfers.
Yeah, surfing's improved a lot. Surfing's improved a lot.
And then real quick on Florida surfers, you were talking about Sean Thompson. Was there a local surfer that you really looked up to back in the day?
Yeah, Charlie Coon.
Oh yeah, obviously. Yeah,
And
Charlie.
then back up in like North Carolina, one of the legends up there was Buddy Pelletier. He ended up in Florida. Buddy was awesome. Charlie wasn't made the top 16. Charlie Coon. I remember years before I'd always be trying to follow how Charlie was doing on the circuit and everything, you know?
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy, down to earth. Like out of East Coast board design, the one guy that had taught me more about surfboards when I was already professional on the circuit than I could ever imagine. That was Greg Lohr.
Yes, Greg Lord, legendary guy.
Dude, that guy, Lyndon was in town, which was my sponsor, and I worked with Gary, which I can't say enough about Gary, you know.
Such
He
a
was
nice
always
guy.
there for me. But Greg lived around the corner from me. Sometimes we just go surfing behind the house. I'd go over to his factory. He even sent Lyndon a whole, gosh, this is back in 89 maybe.
Okay.
He sent Lyndon a whole quiver of EPS blanks.
Okay, but early on.
Epoxy blanks with the resin to glass them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Telling him
Yeah.
this is the new technology.
Yeah. There's actually like for Hawaii, there was all blanks for Hawaii. 89 and 90, I had a whole quiver of epoxy boards
Yeah,
in
EPS.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Wow. So you're working with First Pro on those, maybe?
They were making some in France, but not in big waves. Not big wave
Okay.
boards. Like Greg sent them. They had 3 stringers in them. Gary shaped them. I mean, I got a full double page spread sequence in one of the magazines at Log Cabins backside. Huge left at Log Cabins. Looks like white. That's on an epoxy board.
What did you think of those boards coming from Poly?
They were good. They're good. Just a little squirty back then. Nowadays, everything's been so refined more that, you know, I used to think they might flex a little too much, but, you know, that's why also Greg put the 3 stringers in. It was, you know, the guy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, the guy was so far ahead of his time.
Yeah, and he still is, I think, right?
Yeah. I saw him the other weekend at the trade show, and I still remember Gary had made me this one board because Gary was visiting Florida. Greg let him use a shaping room, you know, gave him the blanks. Greg gave him the blanks to make me some boards. Greg would make me a board here and there, never worry about it. I got this new board. I went to Costa Rica, and I came back, and I rode over to Greg's factory. He's like, how'd it work? You know, what do you think about the boards? And I go, wow, you know, fast.
Okay.
They're really fast. I go, but you go flying down the line, and then I go to a turn, and the nose varies.
Mm.
And it catches and rail. He goes, you got it with you? I go, yeah, it's in the back of my truck. And he grabs a razor blade and walks over to the back of my truck and takes edge off of it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of edge off of it. And he goes, all right, go try it now. A week later, I made the finals at Newcastle in Australia.
Nice.
On that board.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, he taught me how to change completely the way the board rides with fins, and, you know, it's just, that guy had so much knowledge.
How involved were you in your boards? Did you leave it all up to the shaper, or did you get in there and kind of mess around with it?
You know, I'd tell Gary, you know, it's doing this, it's doing that. Maybe, you know, maybe thin out the rails here. One of the things when concave got really popular, I said, don't make me a concave surfboard. I don't want concave in my boards.
Because you tried one that didn't work, or what?
I tried several and I didn't. Only a couple concave boards really worked for me when they first came out. But, you know, I'm riding them now. And, you know, I did some shaping for a while.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, shaped my own boards for a while. I actually won the I don't know if you remember when the Slater brothers did their invitational event in Cocoa Beach.
Yeah, I don't recall, but
I actually won it on a board that I shaped myself.
nice. Okay. So Cocoa Beach has a name. It has you, and it has Kelly. So how far was Kelly behind you? He was quite a few
Couple
years behind.
years. I think he was a freshman when I was a senior.
Same generation, but just a year older.
Yeah.
Did you know he was going to be as good as he is?
Well, I mean, yeah, he was doing really good, and you
Yeah.
know, there's no denying it.
Yeah. I've heard interviews where he brings your name up, like how hard you charge, and there's a lot of nice things. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you know, I remember we were all kids. There was one little place in Cocoa Beach called the Islander Hut, and his mom worked there. It was a little burger fry place, right, literally on the beach. Like you went up the seawall onto the concrete patio of the Islander Hut. We had our birthdays there, everything. I remember Kelly standing up on his boogie board. But him and his older brother, my older brother, Sean O'Hare, Troy Proper, we all hung out there as kids. One of us did 1 360, the other one had to do 2 360s, then 3 360s, then 4. Then we were taking a back fin out of our board.
Do you feel like boards have improved over the years?
Oh,
going back to it?
Yes.
Okay. The technology, but also design?
Mm-hmm. But I tell you what, it is really funny.
Yeah.
I still got the board I rode in the 87 Pipe Masters.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And that was the one I had to surf the local trials, international trials. And it's really funny because it was only 6'10". And it had a lot of thickness. And it had 6 channels off the tail.
Okay.
And it's funny because all the boards went longer after that. And now the boards have gone shorter and thicker again.
Yes.
So it's really funny. I still got this board. I look at it. I'm like, yeah. I was just at the trade show, and I saw like this big step up things and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of looks like a little bit thinner version of my 610 and from '87.
Wow. Okay. Do you think that when you were on tour, how good the surfer was, or do you think there was guys that had better equipment that made them better? Was it the surfer or the blade, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. More both. You had some guys that were struggling financially to get around, struggling financially to make sure, getting equipment and whatnot. And then you had the other guys that got picked up at the airport, got put up at the hotel, got delivered everywhere,
Was that you or not you?
No, well, at one point it was, and then at other times it wasn't. There were some guys that were struggling and other guys that weren't. But it's probably like that in every sport.
That's true. Did it matter what place they were in the world at that year? Did that make a difference?
A little bit.
16th guy against the 5th guy or something.
Yeah, some people, I guess it was like it was really frustrating for me being top 16 in the world and couldn't get a sponsor to pay me $1,500 a month.
Wow. Yeah.
So I could pay for my travel to get around the world.
Yeah, not even pocket anything. You had nothing left over, right?
Pretty much.
Towards the end, how were you feeling about pro surfing?
I know I mentioned to you about not bringing it up, but I was pretty disgruntled with the ASP.
Okay.
I had that incident in Brazil.
Yeah.
That pretty much ended my career.
Okay.
And to this day, I still have nightmares.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's why I don't talk about it in detail.
Yeah.
But,
cool.
It ended my career, and ASP did nothing to back me up as a professional athlete in their circuit.
Oh, man.
If anything, Graham Cassidy from the head of ASP walked up to me the week later and said, if you don't go to Brazil, you'll be fined $2,000 next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
A week later. Not even 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And then they tried to put it all on me, which, Yeah, it was a pretty heavy situation.
Mm.
But the same thing happened to me with other surfers that did it to me. Robbie Bain did it to me at the North Caribbean Coast Classic. Flat out, we came to the beach and almost went to blows. Exact same thing. Exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that didn't happen, and ASP didn't support me whatsoever. And if anything, tried to make me out as a bad guy. And a
Yeah.
lot of that came down to Renato Hickel,
Wow. Okay.
ASP.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Sucks it happened, but
Yeah.
Yeah. When the time finally comes, were you ready to quit? Were you
No.
ready to move on? No.
I wish I could have been supported by the professional surfing
Oh, wow.
and didn't feel like the lack of support from the organization and then them trying to say that I was in the wrong took me down. I wish I could have had the support from a proper professional organization and been able to fairly keep competing. Like I say, fairly keep competing
Yeah.
because they wanted
Yeah.
me out of there.
Okay. Yeah. That sucks. Well, if something like that happened today, we all have social media now. We relied all our information on the magazines, right? You didn't know for 2 months what place Todd Holland was in the world
Until
tour.
it came out in the magazine.
Yeah. Do you think things like this will change now that there's social media and you can get on Facebook or you can get on Instagram and tell your story?
I don't know. Someone told me not long ago that I don't know how long it was after my incident, but the same thing had happened to John Shamuka.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he actually had to go to the American consulate and get extracted from the American consulate.
Oh, gnarly.
Yeah, and it sounds like, ASP hasn't stepped up to protect their surfers.
Wow.
So it's a shame, but that's the way it goes. And, I have no hard feelings from anybody from any of these countries. I love surfing. It turned out it works out good for me.
There you go.
I love teaching kids how to surf. I love coaching them and watching them grow.
At the end of the day, do you feel like you need to be a contest surfer? Can you just be a good surfer that loves the surf? Is that the most important thing?
Yes. I've had a lot of kids and parents come to me about coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, I go, some kids thrive on competition. If your kid's one of those that thrives on competition, then go for it. Push it. If not, because they enjoy it. If you don't enjoy the competition, don't do it. If you just want to get better, I'll help you get better.
There you go.
I'll help you get better. But if you're not having fun, then don't do it. Personally, for me, when I was younger, I loved competition.
It seemed like you needed that competition.
I thrived on it.
Most people aren't, I think, hyper competitive. This is what brings us, in my opinion, the greatest sport or art, whatever you want to portray surfing. Guys like you are doing things that we want to do. We're all striving to be like you guys, in my opinion.
Surfing's amazing. One of the only sports, it's like you do snowboarding, you can do water skiing, you can do this or that. But when you do it, nothing is changing around you.
Yes.
In surfing, there is not
Always.
one wave that is exactly the same.
Right.
Well, maybe now in the wave pool, but there's not one wave that is absolutely exactly the same. That's a natural wave. And learning how, the sets are coming every 3 minutes, every 7 minutes. Perfect example, I think Kelly surfed a final in Fiji for 30, 45 minutes, and he caught 2 waves. And to be able to sit there and figure out and know that wave is coming, or the chance of that wave coming, to sit and wait. Surfing's mental, physical. That's like I used to hate surfing against Tom Kern. Because
Why?
you could have him almost comboed. He needs a 9.9, and the guy would get a 10 in the last 5 seconds. I lost the Hossiger final. I lost a final in Irrecibo, Portugal to him. You know, it's
How many finals have you been in?
I don't know. Or my three biggest ones were the OP Pro,
Yep.
the Coke and North Narrabeen, and the Pepsi Surf the Edge Challenge.
Okay. Do you have a lot of the old surf magazines and stuff that you used to be in?
Yeah, I have some.
You show those to the kids sometimes, or do they know?
Yeah,
That's rad.
yeah.
Yes. Something to be proud of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you worked hard to get there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I get a couple of the kids. You know, they'll actually, I'll say something to their parents, and they'll be like, "Yeah, yeah. Oh crap! We looked you up last night. That's awesome."
A lot of these kids that are coming to you, do their parents surf?
Some do, some don't.
Okay.
Probably about 50-50. I had this one older guy come to me. He goes, "Yeah, I got older. I went to a longboard. Now I want to go back to a shortboard. Can you come out and work with me and show me, figure out what I'm doing wrong, get back up on my shortboard?"
That's cool. How'd that work out?
Great.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Showed him watched him get a wave, showed him two little things, and he jumped right to his feet and went.
How are the lineups in Cocoa Beach? Is the crowd thicker than it was when you were a Grom?
I don't know. Nah, not really where I surf.
Okay.
I don't really go surf the crowded spots anymore. I'll surf behind one of my shops or my house. Fortunately, I'm only 3 houses back from the beach.
Yeah, that's rad.
But like I say, I bought my house back in '97. I couldn't afford it now.
100%. When you were traveling the world, were there any other locations throughout the world that you thought maybe you might settle down at? Or did you always know you were coming back to Florida?
North Shore of Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. You said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Just those. Okay.
If I could have afforded a house and fly my son back and forth and see him, I would have stayed in Hawaii and just tried to continue my career as just a big wave surfer.
Yeah.
But,
Do you miss big waves? Not having access to them like you did then?
Not so much anymore because I'm out of the water. I got 5 messed up discs in my neck. So I'm hoping to have surgery this spring or fall.
Was there a wave in Hawaii that terrified you? Or all of them terrified you?
No, really like Sunset. But my 2 favorite waves were like big off the wall. Like go out it off the wall where like mostly closeouts and 1 and maybe 14 waves is makeable.
How do you pick those?
You sit on this one spot with this other lineup and sit there and wait. Probably my second favorite wave was huge Haleiwa.
Wow.
I used to want to surf big Waimea and stuff like that. Waimea kept getting so crowded. So I'd wait Waimea get like 20 feet and I'd go and surf Haleiwa.
Yeah, but Haleiwa gets heavy too.
Yeah. That's why I swear I got the biggest barrel of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
And you make it out?
Oh, yeah. I took off on this wave and it was either straighten out or pull up into it. And I was too scared to straighten out. So I pulled up into it. That's how big it was.
How'd that feel after making that?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
My knees were shaking the whole time. And that's when I was in my prime.
Yeah. Well, Todd Holland, thank you for coming on the show. Tell us a little bit more about your surf schools. Like, they're both in Cocoa Beach, or where are they at?
Yeah, they're in Cocoa Beach. My wife and I got married 2010, and we started, she was surfing. She was actually doing her internship as a high school math teacher.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
That's cool.
I said, heck with it. Let's open our own surf school. I've always wanted to do that. And I had about $3,000, bought insurance, paid first month's rent and some boards, and we went for it. It's been 15 years later. Like, she made a whole curriculum for our surf camps because, like, our surf camps that run Monday through Friday, we do about a half an hour or more indoor surfing class, everything from safety to, like, Tuesday is, like, turning. Wednesday's about forecasting and etiquette, or actually Tuesday's
I love that.
etiquette.
I love that.
And don't be a wave hog. Who has the right of way? How to get out of the way paddling out. Thursday we do a whole history lesson.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like this. This is what surfing needs.
yeah. And then Friday we do a whole lesson about board design. So the kids, if they go out and buy a board, they're not getting sold something that's not going to work for them. They have an idea.
Oh, there you go.
So, and then at the end of the week they get a diploma.
How many adults are doing this class? Or is this just kids?
No, this is all just kids.
Okay.
17 and under.
I feel like some of these adult learners need to take this class too.
We've actually had some adults try to sign up.
They need to.
Yeah,
they really do. I think people jumping into surfing now don't understand the history, or that there is a history, there is an etiquette, and you're going to get the wrong board if you show up at the surf shop.
Oh yeah. I invite a lot of the kids' parents to sit in and listen to the lesson.
100%. Yeah.
I've taught I got Jan Futch's granddaughter that she's come the last couple of years. Little Eddie, Eddie's daughter, Eddie Jr.'s daughter. Last summer I had Scarlett last summer, but then I had Zoe and Rhea, Alan White's granddaughters. So it's really cool. I get to teach some third generation.
Surfers. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, everybody. So this has been Mike and Todd Holland. Thank you so much, Todd, for coming on the show. Stoked. I love the stories. And it was great hearing from you. All right, everybody. We're out of here.
You go left, I go right. Man, this wave is out of sight. Going surfing. Going surfing. Going surfing with friends. Ride this wave to the shore. Paddle out, I'm gonna catch 10 more. Going surfing. Going surfing. Going surfing with friends. I don't care if it's wrong or right. I'm gonna do it all day, I'm gonna do it all night. I'm going surfing. I'm going surfing. Going surfing with friends. Watching up on my way. It's a beautiful day. I'm going surfing. I'm going surfing. Going surfing